think I've finally gotten to where I want to be. Oh, um, turn on the torch, light up the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. There you are. Here I am to explain, to teach, and create again. Hello, 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 all those out there. Uh, as I say, it's uh, it's like, oh yeah, whenever you're watching this, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, we'll get there. Now I gotta. There I go. I had to turn off the sound on the audio. I was getting feedback and it's like, ah! Okay, what's going on? At the moment, I've been sitting here making some sea turtles to make up Melissa's grand prize. I did do some for her while she watched the other day, and I kind of like that. But I also knew that she liked turquoise, and I came up with something a little bit better in the long run. It has some nice turquoise shine to the dichro, and you can sort of see that in the bling bling. And I've been doing a half a dozen of them to make sure I do some to specification enough to say, hey, these are a set now. So um, that is the one thing that I was playing with at the moment. And another thing that I was thinking about doing, or had to have happened, but not quite happened yet, is well, um, going to wait until maybe somebody shows up, but I'm going to just play for about a half hour, not long today. I've also wanted to bring you up to date a little bit. I have the mermaid out here that's going to go on this coral piece. I haven't figured. I think that's how she's going to stand, somewhere like this. Oops, you can't see it. You can't see it. Okay. She's going to stand like this, and then the diver is going to be coming over here on this side. And I call this, of course, Diver's Dream. Um, and again, I did not give any a forewarning that, hey, I'm going to be doing this, but I feel like sometimes you just got to, like I say, shoot from the hip and ask questions later, right? Right. So first of all, I'm going to warm this up and put this little mermaid on here. Let there be light. That's a fire. Fire. Okay. Now I'm going to tilt this up so that you can see more of what's going on in the bushy flame. And this is the way I usually warm something in. It's bench cold, but you know me, I have a way of annealing something in the flame and then putting it into the fire and then working it and then turn around and cooling it down. I put it in the oven eventually, but at this point, I'm just getting it warm enough to go ahead. And I think I'm going to reshape her body. You know that, yeah. Instead of do this, I'm going to give her a nice rounded bottom tail. I like that tail, but it's not going to do what I want it to do. So this is also making the judgments on the fly, as you call it. That's part of life in general, anyway, right? Okay, so basically, I'm going to do a lacy bottom, like I did on the Christmas tree, but just a little bit different. I'll do a nice round ball and then bring it off into a point, and that'll also be the tail. This will make it light. It'll make it durable and adorable at the same time, right? And this is a way of making something hollow and lacy. I do it by, again, heating and going back and forth, back and forth. It works out really, really well for what I'm doing. And for the tail on the mermaid. Right, right. Now this isn't going to be very, very big, but here we go. We're going to now round it in and collapse it down into the end of the tail. This lace is, like I said, very durable, very strong, and if it breaks, you can go back into the piece. As you saw what I did with the Christmas tree ornament, or the Christmas tree itself, it was made out of the same type of lace, and it really, really works well, for me anyway. Yes, it'll have a few cracks and tinks in it, but it's very strong, very durable, and will be long lasting. Unless, of course, you throw it across the room and it shatters. Right? Right. So here we go. This is going to be the tail for this mermaid. It's already looking pretty decent. Slowly stretch it out. Yes, there's some holes, and I'll see about, I wouldn't say covering them up, but sealing some of them up a little bit. Stretching it out, easing it in. There we go. Hello, Crazy. I'm glad you keep on top of it. What are you, just sitting around in front of the computer? And oh, Lucian's on. Let's watch. I saw the video of your front yard. Do you have to use a rowboat to get to your work shed now, or I know that's probably dried out by now, but I saw that. That was pretty interesting video. I've never lived in that part of the country, so is that normal or just that uh, heavier rain time? Okay, here's the tail to this mermaid. Now I'm gonna do a cold weld here. Touch her to her hand. I'm gonna pull off the tail to this mermaid and put this tail on the mermaid, like so. It gives it a more fuller look and makes it a little lighter at the same time, with it being a lacy tail instead of a solid tail to tail. Warming it in. Okay, I've got to readjust that and fix it just right, but it seems the way I've taped the tape on the didymium lens, it wants to work its way up, and you'll eventually see the bottom of the didymium lens on there. Anyway, let's get this warmed in. Yeah, or put it on pontoons. Not pontoons, but put it on stilts. That way you'd have A, garage space, and B, or is there a cellar that you turn into a swimming pool? He says, heavy rains here it happens all the time. It should sell the house, is what he said. I understand that feeling. Okay, here we go. You know how sometimes you're not happy with what you got and you want to make it a little better. And sometimes you learn, leave it alone and just make a new one. But in my case, I have the capability. I can make it better, so I'm going to. Right, right. And here we go with her new tail. Yeah, you might want to look into seeing if you could raise the house onto stilts or something to see if it's viable over moving. That way you wouldn't have to worry about it. There we go. Sealed in, looking nice. Now tap this off. Oops. Not a major oops, a minor oops. You'll, that's kind of thing I do say from time to time. I go, oops, and then we go, whoa, whoa, what's going on? What's the problem? And sometimes it is a major one, but in my case, most of the time uh, it's not exactly what I want it to happen. So I say, oops. Okay, this is a diver's dream. Your house is in a valley. Yeah, know that feeling. Well, I live on the coast, and we've had torrential downpours during hurricanes and stuff like that. My neighbor's yard would get about an ankle or so deep, but ours was always high and dry, and we're just across the street, which makes you wonder. I guess this piece of land is a little higher and has a little bit better drainage, but it usually only lasts about 2 to about 4 to about 12 hours or less, and it drains right off. Being so close to the coast, everything just sort of splashes back into the ocean, I guess. Okay, now the mermaid's on here, looking good. Now let's see if we can take the diver off his piece and put it over here to this piece. Because like I said, I like the coral look that it had, but it wasn't quite the color variation that I was looking for. And I sealed it to this thing by 2 nice welds, a piece of the to a piece of the coral, I guess you could say. Warm that out. There we go. Now the mermaid's on here. Now the diver, let's see how this sits here. I guess we got to tilt her a little bit more forward. The way I had it in my hand, I pictured her, but I guess from where it was and it needs to be, let gravity work for you and tilt it in another direction slightly. Sort of leaning forward in the piece. There we go. Stretch it a little bit. There. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah. Thanks, Crazy. I like it too. Mermaids are one of my favorite pieces that I do. Dragons have always been my favorite. Mermaids almost took over. And one of my science fiction artists was called Frank Frazetta. And you can look that up and look at some of his illustrations of women, and you wonder why my women get a little chesty, I guess you could say. Okay, now let's see if we can get him off of here. And see if we can't put these two together. Make a winning, make a nice little scenery, piece of scenery. Scenes are not my big thing. I can do individual pieces, but I guess it has something to do with the scale rate. In other words, this is the like a guy sitting on a motorcycle. Yeah, I can do a guy, and yes, I can do a motorcycle, but getting it to scale to where the guy and the motorcycle are ratio perfect. That's, I guess, one of my weak points in my imagination. In other words, I can picture individual pieces, but I cannot picture scenes too well. But I'm doing pretty good on this one, I think. It's nice to be able to work a little bit out of your comfort zone from time to time. Good afternoon for those that just tuned in. I'm working on a scuba diver with a mermaid, which I call Diver's Dream. I'm about to put the scuba diver and the mermaid together. This is where it's going to get fun. Got to hold on to the piece, and it's got to be a fairly good weld because you don't want it to be dropping off halfway through the piece, halfway through putting things together. Okay, that should work it for now. Stay. Hello, Athena. That's a nice name, Athena. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay, I think I know where I'm going to add him. Now we got to warm up the piece to put him on it. This sometimes, yeah, outside. Yep. But again, I can do individual pieces, and I have those shapes, but it's getting the, like sometimes when it comes to doing a set of a sea turtle pendant set. Oh yeah, I'm really gonna have to warm the whole thing back up again. Should have done it this time. There we go. He's about ready. This is about ready to go. After it's all said and done, I'll put it in the oven and just anneal it, and then check it again, and might have to anneal it 1 or 2 times to get all the welds and all the places done up so that it's a nice piece of glass again. There we are. A little bit of the pink. Oh, that's the wrong stuff. Nope. Yep. Here we go. Yeah, it's been one of those projects that I have to do it a little bit at a time. If I don't, um, it also has to stem back to that same deal, the ratio business, getting everything just about right. Now, where do I want to put this? About right there. I might have him reaching forward, holding on to a piece of the coral at the same time to give it a little bit more stability. I guess this is a good time that you should have um, standing at your bench, so you got a little bit more space to work with. But this will do. Yeah, I think I'm gonna touch this hand to this piece of coral right here for extra stability. There we go. Might even bring him up just a little bit. This is where having a we're getting there. Tilt it up. Yeah, I'll work on that where I can put scenes together. On the Melting Memories page, there's one guy that did a nice sea turtle scene. It was really, really nice. and he does some wonderful work. Can put the fish and the sea turtle and the seaweed all together and make it look really, really pretty. There we go. And we have a diver's dream. I'll show this from different angles and stuff later. Okay, now that I've got a support over here with that hand, I can come back over here too and really seal in the knee a little better. Now, there are some cases, and I'll demonstrate it on this piece real quick. There's some cases where you will have very thin. You'll pull out some really thin rod or cane or whatever stringers. That's a good word for it. And you'll be working like you'll want to heat up and work on this one leg without it slumping or drooping. What you would do is you would come and attach a stringer in one spot. I don't really have to do this, to this leg, but I'm going to do it anyway just to demonstrate. And then attach it to another spot. And this stringer will later come off, but that will give it support so while you can heat up and work in this area here if you had to. Um, that way, if you've got a leg or an arm that's a little bit bigger and you feel like you need to work on a weld in a certain spot in the body without that leg slumping in another location, this will do the job for you. His leg is really funny looking there. I'll have to bend back just a little. There we go. I don't know if that was due to me the way I heated it up and it slumped a little bit or whatever, but it was getting an odd angle going on there. And then you'd warm it out, and later on you could just take that support off from that one location, and voila. And if I hadn't had that there when I was doing that number in the middle, that leg would have gone. That leg would have been instead of standing like this, it would have gone. Because gravity works when you're heating up glass. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Hi, Amber. Nice to see you there. I didn't see you until now, but I'm glad you're there. I love knowing that my little daughter loves me enough to watch what I'm doing. I'll be done with this very, very shortly, and then we'll get going. And then, see, now I should have done it to that leg too because I was just heating up near the knee, and it was starting to slump. There we go. I'll take that cold or that support off later, but that worked out real well for me. And with that, I feel like I accomplished a lot putting that all together. I'm gonna have to do more of those. That looks sweet. Matter of fact, no, I can't. My cell phone camera is in the house. Darn, 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 darn. But I will take pictures of it and put it up on Melting Memories page very quickly. And if anybody has any, I try to. Athena says you give great pointers, and I try to because there's a lot of things that frustrates the living daylights out of all glass blowers, and sometimes it's staring you right in the face, and you don't even think that you can use it for like support or you know uh, different colors, different shades, or different like for example this thing right here that I have in front of in front of the torch. For me, it's a heat shield. It also has the didymium protection for me, so that I can see what I'm doing without wearing the glasses themselves. I know it looks a little cumbersome, but it does the job. And sometimes, yeah, and there are other glass blowers that notice that, especially when I go on Facebook Live, that they'll see that I don't have my. Okay, let's go to the where is it? Trying to go over to my other egads. Some dumb. Oh, here we are. Changing over to the uh, the laptop picture so you guys can see where I'm at and what I'm doing at this point. Let's see if I can tilt that. Hey, no, that's too bright. Let's tilt it upwards. Maybe that'll do. Yeah, there we go. You can see me. Not the color variation's a little bit better. Uh, they're blind. I'm just looking at what I showed you on the screen. But yeah, it kind of helps to have, I don't know, uh, a little helpful hint from time to time to get us going in the right directions. And if that's what I can do to help inspire somebody to sit down behind a torch and create something that 5 minutes ago they thought was impossible for them to do, I've done my job. And I'm excited about that because when I sit down in front of a torch, there's no feeling like it. And if I've been away from the torch for, I'd say, 2 or 3 days or even a week, and I come back, it's the best description I can give you is like, if you've had a cast on your arm or on your leg, and then they take that cast off, and then you finally get a chance to scratch in that one spot that you've been not been able to get to. It's like, oh yeah, that feels real good. And that is the feeling. It's just something like you missed and you have been ignoring it, and then finally when you get a chance to do it, it's like takes care of the takes care of the good parts of it anyway. Um, with that, again, I wasn't going to stay long today. Yeah, I'm not going to stay long today. I just wanted to. Athena says, I should say this. When I saw that, I thought it was genius. I hate wearing glasses. Amen. Also, for those that do the welding, who are trying and trying to experiment with my quartz stuff, please use welding shades, at least a welding shade like this in front of your torch, so that you're not burning your eyes. It is imperative because the quartz work gets so much brighter than the Pyrex ever thought of getting. And if you're doing quartz work, make sure you use sunscreen, because there is major. I mean, you should even be using sunscreen if you're using uh, borosilicate and even soft glass, because there is UV light being produced, and also uh, just hot heat, radiant heat light coming from that torch, and it's better to save your face, literally. I'm telling you this from a 30-year perspective of being lazy and not doing anything with my face. So, and my family has a thing of skin cancer, so it's not good. But yeah, sunscreen and eye protection. Those are the two top things that if you don't do anything else that I ask of you, do those things. Protect your face, protect your eyes, so that you can be doing this for many, many, many years to come. Anyway, I do enjoy your videos, is what Crazy for Glass says. I do learn after all these years. Yeah, Crazy for Glass is also, he has his own web page. I will put a description onto his video page down in, or in the description. I'll put a URL to his, or link to his web page. He has in his own right a lot of good information to give out to glass blowers too. Um, his lace is so much different than mine in a good way, not in a bad way. He can do that loop-de-loo lace where I can't even, I guess because of my dyslexia or something, I can do one, two, three, and then the next loop looks like not a loop. It just doesn't want to work with me. But when you can do it over and over and over and over again and make it look so great like he does, oh, excuse me. So without further ado, I am going to call it quits for the day. And thank you very much. And as always, enjoy your day. And also, Amber, if you're still watching, I'll try to get on and do a quick Google chat with you afterwards. Hang in there, or hangouts, I guess you could say. So, as always, like I say, enjoy your day, and thank you for being there. You make these events. If I can find this. See, I have two screens. I have one with the laptop, which is running the computer, and then I have another screen right here. That's why I'm sort of looking funny over here that has the chat room and stuff on it. And I have to raise the mouse arrow from one screen to another, and it gets kind of confusing at times. So life's hard things to deal with. So thank you, and enjoy your day.